So, as marketers, we all know that truth is rarely absolute. We craft messages the way we want to be heard, right? We portray ourselves the way we want to be seen. How many times have we seen that in our own brand briefs? But we need to be honest with ourselves. And so let's try to continue to get a little help with this. Our next speaker is going to share some of that honesty. He'll offer his view of the challenging landscape and the pressures many of us are facing to adapt and evolve in this changing world. And he's also going to share some of his fears of his own. Ladies and gentlemen, what are we afraid of? 17 Honest Minutes with Remi Carlioz, Global Head of Consumer Communications at Puma, hosted by Adam Ostrow, Head of Strategy for Mashable. Please welcome Remi and Adam. How are you, brother? How are you?
Great. Well, hello, everybody. I'm very excited to be here, not just because it's NewFront, but my best friend actually happens to be a Puma athlete. He's a distance runner from Equatorial Guinea. So in a way, I'm interviewing his boss. So yeah. I hope this goes well.
Good. Good.
Well, Remi, how are you?
I'm terrified, but I guess it's the topic of the day. So you'll tell me in 17 minutes how I'm doing.
Well, fearlessness, I mean, I think Puma is certainly a brand that's embodied that through the years, going all the way back to the 1968 Olympics with Tommy Smith, more recently Usain Bolt. What does fearlessness mean to you, and how does it play into deciding what athletes you align yourself with in a world where you have Nike paying guys like LeBron and Tiger Woods hundreds of millions of dollars for these mass market media campaigns?
Yeah, so being fearless for us means like we behave the same way on pitch and off pitch, and I don't think it's not just a budget issue with Nike or with other brands. And I think if you look at our history, at our 65 years history, long history, all the athletes we're working with have a very different and a very strong personality. You know, Tommy Smith, you mentioned, Maradona, Pelé, Usain Bolt, Balotelli, all those incredible athletes have a very strong personality that's different from other athletes you mentioned. And Nike is an amazing brand. We are just different in the way we approach the way we are working with athletes.
Mm-hmm. So what are the qualities you look for when you're deciding who you align yourselves with?
Well, obviously, they have to be good. And, I mean, and it's one other point. I mean, you can only be brave or fearless if you're really good. Usain Bolt is obviously 9 times gold medal winner, and he's still the fastest man on earth. I think what's amazing about sport is the same rules apply to everyone. So the only variable is talent and training and sweat. And so we choose people who are really good and who are game changers. So they can master the rules and they can change the rules. Mm-hmm. And they also have a very strong personality, and their values are similar off pitch and on pitch. They're very consistent the way they behave. And I think it's the same for us as Puma employees. We're very consistent and we're very in phase with the way our athletes behave.
Right. And certainly this is something we think a lot about at Mashable. We're a brand that's really targeted at the younger generation. Consumers, we increasingly think, care a lot about the values that the brands that they choose to associate with, what they stand for. I think this week with Donald Sterling and the LA Clippers, for instance, I think we've really seen that come to light in terms of people choosing to align themselves with brands. What do you think about the current generation and how important it is for brands to be about more than just the products?
Well, I think it's absolutely key, and it's another question, and we can discuss it. It's a bit long, but especially in a time where I was reading this amazing book by Jeremy Rifkin about the zero marginal cost economy, at a time where products might disappear, including our products, because of 3D printing and so on. I think as a brand, people remember brands for the way they behave, and they help us behave. So it's absolutely key. Obviously, there's no need to say that what happened with the LA Clippers is absolutely not acceptable. And we had the same thing in Europe this weekend in a stadium with a completely stupid fan throwing a banana at a player. And the player actually ate the banana. And our athletes, which is a smart move given the situation, and our athletes were the first ones to react. And I think for us at Puma, it's been always very, very important, those kind of values. And we've always, if you look at all the athletes we've been sponsoring for the past 65 years, it's all about, it's not only, it's all about result, and it's all about being the best in their discipline, but it's also about gender, race, income, fighting for fairness. So I think it's absolutely key. A brand is all about the values and all about, we lend the strengths of our business to the underdogs. We're underdogs ourselves, and I am an underdog.
And this is something we've talked about. This is something you try to embody in your personal life as well and encourage others to do.
To be an underdog?
No, not to be an underdog. Well, that has its pluses and minuses, right? But in terms of standing up for what's right, whether it's in the workplace or whether in your personal life.
But I think, you know, it's very interesting. I don't know if people notice in the audience. I'm not American. But it's very interesting. In the US, there is a big separation between your personal life and your business life. So someone can be incredibly tough with you at the office and really an asshole, and then it's like, nothing personal, it's just business. I'm like, no, it's not. And in Europe, we are completely different. Everything is very emotional. There is a great deal of, you know, we mix personal life and business like a bit too much.
6 months vacation.
Yeah. No, but I strongly believe that the values you have in your personal life, being brave or being fearless or being brave is not just about, you'll see the next session with those amazing people from Epic magazine. It's not just going in a war zone. It's also, you're taking the subway in the morning, or you're going at a dinner in New York City, and you hear a racist joke, a bad joke. You immediately have to stand up and say, hey, no, stop it. And it happens 10 times a day. So it's not just about being brave or you know, one time in your life, 10 times a day. So it's the same way we behave as a brand as I try to behave in my personal life.
And how do you do that? I mean, I think we in the last session, we were talking about CVS and how they made the decision to not sell cigarettes anymore. And I think only a couple folks in the room raised their hands in terms of saying they would turn down $2 billion in profit and make that decision overnight. How do you do that?
So first, I'm very happy because I've tried to quit 6 times, and the average is between 7 and 9. So I guess the next time will be the good. And so I forgot your question.
I was just asking, where does that courage and fearlessness come from? How do people, if they don't necessarily feel that way currently, how do they develop that skill?
On the personal life or in the
both.
workplace?
I think it's both.
I think it just makes life more interesting. I mean, it's just like, if as a rule you establish for yourself or in the workplace that you never have to take the easy path, it just makes your life more interesting. And it's just our mission. It's not an option. It's I just think, I just think you have to do it. And it's 10 times a day when you make a decision at work, whether it's a good one or not, it just makes your life more exciting.
And at Puma, you've recently designed some changes, I guess, that are very much designed to make the company more agile, and we'll talk about how quickly things are changing in just a second. But talk a little bit about that, how you're rebranding yourself and how you realign the organization on the marketing side to really position it for success in this environment.
So yes, next August we'll have one of our biggest rebranding exercise in history and one of our biggest media campaign in the past probably 15 and 20 years, sorry. And the tagline is Forever Faster. So we're becoming the fastest sports brand in the world. And Forever Faster is obviously a consumer-facing statement, but it's also very much how we behave internally. So Forever is our heritage, our 65 years of amazing heritage. And faster is obviously bold being faster. And by the way, we did not choose Forever Fast. It's faster. So it's faster than fast. But it's also the way we behave, faster on trends, faster in innovation, faster in the way you take decisions, faster in the way you answer emails, faster, really faster. So we went through quite a lot of changes. We have a new CEO, a new board of management, a new director of marketing, a lot of changes. So we've tried to adapt the organization to this mantra, to be faster to market. And yes, we're changing fairly quickly. In my department, for example, we merged digital PR and media just to be more efficient and to be able to design and roll out integrated campaigns. It's a big change, and people are afraid of change. I'm hopeful that all the change we make will make people's life more interesting inside Puma.
Mm-hmm. And as you navigate this changing environment, we talked a little bit beforehand about how much technology is changing in the next 5 to 10 years. What are some of the, I guess, fears you have in terms of where the business could go, and how are you adapting to that or planning for that now in what's going to be a rapidly changing environment?
Well, there's so many changes if you look around. So it's actually a fear. I was working in the music industry 15 years ago. I mean, I was working outside the music industry, so it was easier for me to look at them fail. But you know, they were looking at Napster and then at iTunes and so on, and they were like, that's not a real product, it's not a real threat. And it took them 10 years to react, and most of them died. Symbolically, but they died. Some companies died. And it's the same today. It's moving when you look at the sharing economy, when you look at some companies, when you look at some model. It's very 3D printing, for example, is amazing. Tomorrow you'll be able to print, which is good news, but you'll be able to print your IKEA bookshelf, the Billy one that you probably have at home. You'll be able to print it and not go to IKEA on a Sunday morning. What does it mean for IKEA? IKEA will probably stay relevant as a brand, but where is their value? It's the same for us. I mean, you ask me what it is to be a brand. So we have values, we have a voice, we have a community, we have strengths as a business. But then, you know, those amazing shoes, if you can print them at home, for example, in 5 years, what our business will be. And business models are changing, and distribution channels are changing. And, you know, you wake up one morning, and I'm buying glasses. I used to pay $400 for a pair of glasses. And a guy who created Warby Parker said, no, why? And then you wake up one morning, and you know that never again you will pay $400 for glasses. Mm-hmm. And the consumer experience is better. So we have to be ready for change, big time.
Mm-hmm. And specifically within kind of the realm of media and advertising, I think the places that the audience that Puma targets, very much their consumption habits are changing. How are you thinking about how you engage with them, how you change, and how are you making sure you're moving quickly enough to reach them?
Well, it's tough, you know. It's back to what I was trying to explain about never take the easy path. So first, I think it's a bit of a cliche, but we are trying to reach them where they actually already are, rather than always trying to bring them back to our own properties. And it's also a constant fight to be brave enough and to develop good content and quality content, because we had a lot of discussions. It's a constant struggle to establish quality. It's once again, it's never takes the easy path. So we're reaching out consumers where they already are. We're trying to stay relevant and authentic. And I think the content we're developing improves quite a lot, and we're not pretty bad at this. Too bad.
What inspires you? Where do you find inspiration?
Everywhere. I mean, I have had a complicated career. I find inspiration in politics, in contemporary art, in literature, in movies, and you know, I mean, it's about fear and about being brave and so on. My father is he's a surgeon, orthopedic surgeon for kids. He would leave the house at 6 a.m., come back at 10, staying 12 hours in a row in the emergency room, sometimes with success, sometimes with less success. I'm selling sneakers. And I'm taking my job super seriously, but I'm not taking myself super seriously.
Right.
And you know, sometimes I'm like, okay, yesterday I had a big meltdown about a content management system, whatever. And it, you know, it has an impact on my team, on the resources, but I'm still selling sneakers, you know. My father was saving lives. So sometimes you just have to zoom out and say, let's pause, let's calm down, and let's see what the reality is.
And is that a big part of how you gather the courage to challenge the status quo and kind of grounding yourself in that reality? Is that a big trick to it?
Actually, it's very easy for me because I have a very classical syndrome, which is to be an imposter. So once you know you're an imposter, everything you do is bonus. And then you have to work super quickly before your boss actually realizes you're an imposter. And if you're good, actually you learn your job and your skills before he realizes. So for me, you know, it's not that complicated.
Gotcha.